With me now is Lanny Davis. He's a former White House special counsel to President Clinton. Lanny, welcome back.
Hi, Piers, thanks.
This is all getting very heated. I watched the president. He was very animated, very forceful, basically saying, leave Ambassador Rice alone, come after me. But it's not as simple as that, because she was the one sent out on that Sunday onto all the morning television shows. I know because I watched it happen. And she was the one spinning the line that came from intelligence. Now, that intelligence may have been flawed, but she was still the go-to person for the White House, wasn't she?
Yes, and I've been in the White House on Fridays and Saturdays as decisions are made who goes on the Sunday morning shows. There are important decisions in the White House every Friday, Saturday, because sometimes policy is enunciated on these Sunday shows. So in this instance, there had to be someone to address the tragedy of Benghazi, and Ambassador Rice was the prominent person available, and she was given talking points, my understanding, and reported by the intelligence community that was consulted on what to say. Now, that turned out to be wrong, and I have great respect for John McCain and Lindsey Graham, who I consider them friends, and they're certainly right. This needs to be fully investigated 100%. It's very, very serious. But that's different than saying there was an intentional misrepresentation. And I don't understand attacking Ambassador Rice, who was doing her job and saying what she was told was the truth at that particular time, which turned out to be wrong.
Right, and of course the point made to the senator earlier on Anderson Cooper's show was that, you know, he defended stoically Condoleezza Rice after she herself, of course, was part of an administration duped over Saddam Hussein's WMD. Very similar circumstances. And that had much more catastrophic consequences, you could argue. So I think it's a rocky path to choose, you know, who you're going to defend and not defend over faulty intelligence. I mean, I do not believe, from everything that I've been told by people close to her, that Ambassador Rice deliberately misled people. I think she reported faithfully what she had been given by intelligence. Now, how culpable that makes her, well, we'll see when the investigation continues, I guess.
Well, just to remind my friend John McCain, who I have the greatest respect for, and was a friend of my friend then Senator Hillary Clinton, that Senator McCain reminded me that you don't attack people's motives, you question their judgment. The judgment to put Ambassador Rice on these television shows without having all the facts was a judgment the White House made. And President Obama has it exactly right. If there's criticism to be made, it was in that judgment in retrospect. But certainly I don't understand impugning the sincerity of Ambassador Rice for doing what she's there to do and speaking what she was told to say.
As somebody who obviously operated with President Clinton through a very well-publicized affair, what do you make of General Petraeus? Now that we basically have worked out this is probably just about sex and not about secrets being passed or anything else, should he have resigned?
I personally, it's his personal decision. I don't question his decision. I personally do not think he should have been asked to resign. I don't think it was necessary for him to resign. And I agree with General Kimmett that we should look forward to a new chapter in his life. He's a great and courageous man with a personal weakness that many other people, men and women, share. And in this case, public humiliation and embarrassment is the pain and the penalty. And he stood up to the line and said and did the right thing for him. But no, I don't think it was necessary for him to resign.
Let's turn, if I can, to the fiscal cliff. And I want to play you a comment today to CNN's Poppy Harlow from Warren Buffett, at the stage of all things economic. Let's watch this.
I have never, in those 60 years of managing money for all kinds of people, come up with an idea and said, Poppy, I've got this terrific idea to make us some money, and you say to me, well, I would do it, but the tax rates are too high. It's never happened.
Now, I watched that whole interview. He was fascinating. I mean, I find him a fascinating guy anyway. There you've got the richest guy in America, one of the richest 2 or 3 people in the world, and he's saying, look, I have never seen in my entire career any evidence, and he was quite careful about spelling it out in detail, any evidence of higher capital gains or higher income tax. That he'd been in America when income tax was 90%. Capital gains was double what it is now. He'd never seen any evidence that it ever affected investment or job creation. And he said, look, President Obama must carry through now his plan to tax the wealthy more. And in fact, he began to bring in a new staging posting where if you earned 10 million a year, you would pay a lot more new tax than if you earned 250,000 a year. I thought it made perfect sense.
Not only did he make perfect sense, but it doesn't really matter what party you're in. If you look at any poll, if you ask the American people, should people earning $250,000, $500,000 a year or more pay more taxes now to help dig us out of this terrible, immoral $16 trillion national debt hole? The Erskine, Bowles, and Alan Simpson Commission said the answer to that is yes, but we should cut corporate tax rates. And remember the Buffett rule, Piers, which he said I shouldn't be paying less taxes than my secretary. That's all Barack Obama is saying, is that if we're going to sacrifice, Bill Clinton, people like myself, should be paying more taxes. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to make investments. And Warren Buffett has it right.
Yeah, and by the way, the stinking rich, if they're paying 1 or 2% more, will still be stinking rich. Lanny Davis, very good to talk to you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Piers. Thanks for having me.